Oh, there you go. We got you, Tina. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you, Brian, for having me on. I appreciate your show very much. You
I,
do
I appreciate
seem to
that.
you seem to give both sides and give people a chance to make up their own mind, and I appreciate that about a
Sure.
podcast or a reporter. Thank you.
Sure. Well, I definitely try to do that, Tina. It doesn't mean I'm always going to agree with everybody, but I always give people the opportunity, and I appreciate you taking the opportunity to come on the show. Let me start by asking you this. Um, if some people out there say you're a controversial figure, is that an unfair characterization? How do you feel about that?
Well, I agree, Brian. I think that people are entitled to their own opinion. I just ask that their opinion be based on facts. And when someone doesn't look at the facts in a case and choose to believe the mainstream media or hearsay, then I don't respect that. I think that I'm willing to have, like you are, a conversation with people and then let them make up their own mind.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. Let's do that. When if somebody asked you, do you believe Joe Biden is a free and fair elected president? What would be your response to that?
Well, I usually try to stay in my lane with what I know,
Hmm.
and I was the Mesa County clerk in and recorder who did elections, and I thought I did a very fair election in my county. It's a Republican red county, and Trump did win. What I've seen since then this has been 2 years. I've seen so much evidence. I mean, hard evidence of manipulation. And all you have to do, Brian, is look at the state of our United States right now. Open borders, fentanyl, child trafficking, human sacrifice, the transitioning of butchering children, and the confusion that's going on, the wars. It's just, I think people out of their own mind realize that our, and I call them selected because that's my personal opinion from the proof I've seen, officials are not representing the people. I walked door to door, Brian, in 2016. I'm a cancer survivor. I'm a Gold Star mom. My son was a Navy SEAL that served this country. And as a business owner for 32 years, I just wanted to get involved. And I walked door to door before the 2016 election. I talked to Democrat, I talked to Republican, unaffiliated, Green Party. I talked to them all. And what I found was that people love their family, and they want liberty in our country, and they're concerned. They're concerned right now, and that's what prompted me after over 3 decades of being a business owner to stand up and run for public office because
Hmm.
I wanted to make a difference. And you know what the public office was,
What's up?
or why I ran? I ran to shorten the 3.5 hour wait times in our county in motor vehicle.
And I have no problem with that. And I applaud you for doing that. I guess from an outsider looking in, as an independent, which I am, when I hear that you say you have hard evidence or you've seen hard evidence, why didn't Donald Trump's attorneys show hard evidence in the courtroom? Why is it we have to go to the My Pillow guy and Dinesh D'Souza? Where were Donald Trump's attorneys? Where's that hard evidence? Where can it publicly be seen? And why have most people in this country not seen it, but you have?
Mhm.
That would be my
Well,
question.
it's just not that I've seen it. It's being suppressed in the mainstream media, which is very evident. If you just look at New York, where they're trying to try him. I mean, these are judges that are not on our side as far as for truth and transparency, in my opinion. And here, this is the point that matters to every person, especially if you're a voter. You want your vote to count. You want it to count for who you choose, whether it is Joe Biden or Donald Trump or whoever it is, right?
Hmm.
Whether you're a Democrat or Republican. Um, but you want the transparency, and when you don't have transparency in the voting process, and the Rasmussen poll has put out that 68% of the people do not believe the elections are fair, and so that's where I stand. It lets let's look inside these machines. And that's what I was able to see. My actions are called the Rosetta Stone. No one had seen inside the machines before because they weren't allowed to. So I can go there when you're ready.
I have no problem with that. But I think, the way you think he might be treated within our justice system is I think that's a different topic. And I'm glad to talk to you about that. But all I'm saying is I want to see that hard evidence. Trump's attorneys in our justice system were unable to prove anything. Some of those were Republican Trump appointed judges. And there are many people within his administration, former administration, that are saying that he even knew he lost the election. Let me ask you one more question about this, and then we can move on to some of those other topics that you brought up, which I think are all important. In 2016, Tina, as you know, when Trump was running against Hillary Clinton, months before that election, he said that the elections were rigged and that Hillary was going to rig it and the Democrats were going to rig it. Then he won. And then for the next 3 years, I didn't hear him talking about elections being rigged. I didn't hear Republicans talking about election integrity. Could it be possible that maybe if he lost, he would have done the same thing he did in 2020, but he won? And why is it only fraud when a Republican loses? Because that's the way Donald Trump has behaved. He did it in 2016, then he won, and then for the next 3 years, he wasn't talking about elections being rigged. Why is that?
I happen to know some inside information, not inside, it's public. I can send it to you, how that was prevented. Basically, they overwhelmed the polls. And there's about 8 different ways they cheat. We can get into that on another show or whenever you'd like. But, the point of it is this is not Democrat and Republican. That's what people need to understand. The criminals, the Marxists, the globalists that want to, and there's no doubt in anybody's mind that there are entities that want to destroy this country because they can't implement this globalist agenda as long as we are sovereign of our own country. So that is a fact that can be backed up. But people have to understand these people, these Marxists, these globalists, these people that are trying to take out our country and make it weaken our military and all these things, selected politicians, they're not Democrat, they're not Republican, but as long as they can keep us blaming the Democrats or blaming the Republicans, then they win. So it's important that people know that. And if you don't mind, there's on YouTube. It's also on my tinapeters.us website. There's a video. It's 2 minutes, and it basically shows that both sides believe that there's problems. Do you mind playing that clip?
Well, let me say this in general. I think I don't disagree with you. I think that but I just think there's a fine line between saying that there's problems and then saying that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. Do you see where I'm going with that? We could always come together and say, hey, there's things we can do to improve. For example, I think you should have voter ID. I think you should have to show an ID to vote. I've always been for that, right? And we probably agree on a lot of that stuff. What I don't agree with is Donald Trump to this day saying he won the 2020 election. What I don't agree with is the rhetoric that led up to January 6th. Hillary Clinton conceded the next day. There might be some Democrats out there that say that they don't believe Donald Trump won in 2016, but we didn't have an insurrection. Surely you would agree with me that what happened on January 6th was an embarrassment, and it should never happen again in this country.
Well, I believe there are operatives that are placed in places. We've seen what's happening in a lot of circumstances where Soros funded operatives are going in. We've got it right here in Las Vegas. I mean, I can bring you proof of people that have come in from out of state that have been operatives to get ranked.
Okay, but hold on. Let me backtrack. You're saying that George Soros was responsible for the people that beat police officers on January 6th?
I'm saying that George Soros is a lot of the money of these globalists, or a lot of the money that's funding these groups that are infiltrating. I mean, we've got videos and proof of people dressing up like Trump supporters. We've got videos of them bragging about putting on, oh gosh, I hate to put on this Trump shirt.
Can you name me one person that is in jail right now from January 6th that lied about being a Trump supporter? Because what I've learned through our justice system, everybody had a chance to defend themselves. And if you disagree with me, let me know. But there was overwhelming evidence that these people, just based on their social media, were were right-wingers, were Trump supporters, and many of them are in jail, and they had the opportunity to defend themselves. And I didn't see any evidence of the over 1,000 people that were convicted that somehow George Soros was a part of their a process of going to January 6th, and some of them beating police officers, chanting "Hang Mike Pence," defecating on Nancy Pelosi's desk. I'm not saying Democrats can't be violent either. That's not what I'm saying.
We're not talking Democrats and Republicans, remember? Right. We're talking globalist Marxists that want to take this country out. And if they, do you think it's inconceivable to believe that these people would dress up like Trump supporters and go in and do these things?
But there's no evidence of that.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
Well, give me a name, because I want to take you up on this. Is there one court case, one person that you can name of the over 1,000 people that were convicted on January 6th, 300 of them, I believe, are in jail. One person that there's evidence in court where they showed that George Soros funded them, or they're a liberal or a Democrat disguised as a MAGA. Because that would have come out in court. Can you name me one case?
All right. So you're putting a lot more confidence in our elected officials right now.
Well, I'm talking about attorneys. I'm talking about the people that they hired as their defense attorneys. Surely that would have come out in a courtroom if that was true, no?
Well, don't call me Shirley. No, I'm just kidding. So, but go ahead and play that 2-minute clip, because I want people to understand, and this is what people want to know: who is they? People, whenever I speak, people always say, "Who is they?" I've got people that have come over from the Democrat Party, people that have come, everyone knows, if they have half a brain and they're not just listening to the rhetoric, that something is wrong in this country, that there's reasons. There's people behind the fentanyl that's coming through. There's people behind the human trafficking. There's people behind what's going on in Ukraine and all these things. This is not normal. And if you don't understand what's been going on in our election system for many, many years, you don't understand that elections are the root of the problem. So if you'll just play that real quick, I think I won't have to say a whole lot.
Well, I promise you I'll play it when we're done with the interview, because I don't want to waste, I don't want to.
No. Don't play it after the interview. Play it because it's the point.
I hear you, but there's so many more issues I want to get to you on, if that's okay. You had mentioned, transgenders and transgender surgery and all that. And listen, there are a lot of Republicans that are talking about this. I guess, do you have an issue with drag queens reading books to kids? Let's start there. What is your issue with that?
Well, I know that Charlie Kirk, or who was it? That Cameron. I'm trying to think.
Cameron.
Kirk Cameron went in and wanted to do the same thing, with, on a Christian bias. I think that children, in my opinion, are too young to understand what's going on, and it's causing a lot of confusion. So I don't think that's healthy. I think kids should be going to school to learn their math and social studies and things like that, English. They don't even teach cursive anymore because AI doesn't understand cursive, but that's a whole other subject. But here's the thing, you'd have to be blind and deaf and totally isolated on an island to think that what's going on in this country is normal. And it's not. It's not that, they're trying to pit us one against the other. Whether it's Democrat and Republican, whether it's gay or straight, whether it's black or white, that is how they take down a country, is divided we fall.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. I went to a drag queen reading a few weeks ago because I wanted to try to understand what the fuss was about. All the kids were having a good time. There was nothing sexual. Everybody seemed to be having fun. The only thing I heard was, hey, everybody should be treated as equals. Let's treat everybody, with respect. There was nothing sexual there. Now, I'm not talking about transgender surgery. We can get to that. But I'm just specifically talking about drag queens reading books to kids, which, by the way, are not happening in schools. I agree with what you said about schools and what kids should be learning and all that stuff. I agree with you. But I'm just talking about, drag queen reading. And I say to myself, to some Republicans, can you name me a child that was killed from drag queen reading? And of course they can't. And I say, why are we not focusing on gun control or healthcare or more important issues. I don't see anything wrong with the drag queen reading books to kids so long as nobody's forced to go. And if the parents make that decision, would you disagree with me on that?
I think that anything that demoralizes and breaks down our society is bad. I do believe in free speech, but I also see that you're ridiculed if your free speech doesn't agree with a more radical free speech. And you keep talking about Democrat and Republican. I
Mhm.
can't go along with that narrative because that's not the issue. You see the Liz Cheneys and the Matt Romneys that are Republicans that
Mhm.
vote like Democrats. And you see Democrats that are walking away from the Republican Party. So we have to get off of that Democrat Republican thing.
Why would you say Liz Cheney votes like a Democrat? I would say 99% of her voting record is far right. Is that because she voted to impeach Trump that you would say that? I'm trying to understand.
Well, obviously, what I'm getting from our conversation is
Yeah.
that you are wanting to talk about Democrat versus Republican, and I can't go with that because I see people as equal, important. When I was the clerk and recorder, and I would hire for my
Yeah.
staff, I never asked them. I could have checked their voter registration. I
Mhm.
never asked if they were Democrat or Republican, as long as they could do the job.
Sure.
But when you have people coming in that are obviously demoralizing our country, there's
Would you
nothing.
say those are both Republicans and Democrats that are demoralizing?
Oh, absolutely, they
Okay,
are,
fair enough.
Brian.
Let me give you an example, and I agree. I talked a lot about the Squad last week. Their anti-Semitic comments towards Israel, very disappointing. I've called out Ilhan Omar for years. But you talk about your family, and I love the fact that your family served. Your son, daughter.
My son, he served and he died as a
Oh
Navy
my! I'm
SEAL.
so sorry to hear that. A hero. Okay, anybody who serves this country is a hero, and I'm so sorry to hear that about your son. And I have the utmost respect for your family and the hell that you guys have had to go through. So I have to ask you this question. Yes, we talk about the Squad, right? Democrats, and I've called them out for their anti-Semitic rhetoric. Would you also agree with me? Because I'm trying to be fair here. When Donald Trump says he doesn't respect John McCain because he was captured as a POW, that has to bother you. Doesn't that type of statement also demoralize and take down society when you have a man a former president of the United States, who's saying, I don't respect John McCain because he was captured? Would you agree with me that both are wrong?
I would agree that we have greater issues right now than who said what about what. I really do. I think that right now, if
Mhm.
we don't get involved, we're going to lose this country. And that's what I'm focused on. I don't focus on who said what and all the drama that people try to stir up about that. Both sides are doing it. And that's the problem, is they're ripping our country apart by doing that. Let's focus on how we get our country back. Let's focus on what the truth is. Let's focus on elections being transparent and to the people so they can see and make sure that their vote counts. And I'm going to wait because I want you to play that, because in this clip, this 2-minute clip, it's going to tell a little bit about my story. People can watch the documentary on my website, tinapeters.us. But
Mhm.
I'm going to pause, Brian, because I want you to see that it's not Democrat and Republican. It takes 2 minutes, and I'll wait.
But you don't think, one more question in regards to this, you don't think that a lot of things in our at the House of Representatives, congressmen, senators, things are not able to get done because Republicans and Democrats can't see eye to eye and get along? I would have to disagree with you. I think that a big issue is the two worst words in this country are Republican and Democrat, because I think too many people do what's best for their party and not what's best for the country. Would you agree with me on that?
I agree that there are people that, for money, power, and position, that are doing things that are not good for our country.
Hmm.
And I don't care what side you're on.
Right.
That's what I believe. And I believe it's and I really do ask that you play that clip, because I believe it's happening on both sides. And this is
Okay.
my position.
Okay, we'll do that for you as long as you sit tight here, because I have a few more questions for you after, if that's okay, Tina.
Yeah, you bet.
Great. Okay, so we're gonna play this 2-minute clip. I'm a man of my word. Here you go, Justin. Go ahead and play it.
local criminal investigations into Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters' alleged voting machine security breaches continues.
If I asked you this question before the 2020 election, are these voting machines secure?
I would have said yes.
And after the election,
I would have said yes.
what changed?
Tina Peters admits she brought in a consultant to make a forensic copy of the Dominion voting system in Mesa County.
I continue to think that our voting machines are too vulnerable.
Voting machines in Georgia and Texas switch votes from one candidate to another.
Virtually every machine was broken into.
Ballot recording machines.
Voting machines.
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 Voting machines.
Voting machines. Machines.
Machine.
Machines.
Machine.
Machines, which are vulnerable to being hacked.
There is no serious person out there who would suggest somehow that you could even rig America's elections.
We've seen no evidence that any of our voting systems have been tampered with.
The November 3rd election was the most secure.
It was the most secure.
Most secure election
in American history, period.
The process is very secretive.
These machines are built by private companies, which we don't have a right to know what goes on inside those.
What did you see during the software update?
We've uncovered something that they're afraid of.
we didn't consider the machines.
The information found there is the Rosetta Stone.
They made a mistake and left the evidence in the machine.
And you can hide it as well.
It's only what the programmer tells it to say.
It's literally like the difference between going from pickpocketing to credit card fraud.
These people are being selected, not elected.
It's about who gets to count the vote.
They break down my door, terrorize my family.
FBI, federal search warrant.
What do you remember?
Just my mom being handcuffed by the chief of police. This is not what we do in America.
You could make it all go away, though. You just keep your mouth shut. You could have your life back.
Can't unsee what I've seen.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. I want to particularly, Tina, ask you about Dominion voting machines. If in fact machines like Dominion voting machines were hacked into, or you believe that there was fraud, or whatever the case may be, why did Fox News pay out almost $1 billion? And where is the evidence? Because again, I keep asking this question over and again. I'm talking about direct evidence that somehow Dominion voting machines were responsible for maybe rigging an election. Because if there was any evidence of that, wouldn't Fox News' own attorneys shown that in a courtroom to prove their case? Instead, they said, here's $800 million. Okay, we lied. That's basically what they did.
Thank you for asking that question. So if you check and see who owns large amounts of Dominion stock as well as Fox stock, you'll see that it is BlackRock. If you do a little bit of digging, and maybe you have some people, if you don't have time to do some digging on BlackRock, they are a really bad organization. So it was basically a way to transfer money from one to the other and make it look like Fox caved in to Dominion, like, oh my goodness, they're going to win. So that was a big show on the.
So you're saying Fox News was in cahoots with Dominion, and that's why they paid them $800 million?
Look and see.
Well, I'm just asking you because I haven't.
Yes.
I guess you have. You're making the case that Fox News was in cahoots with Dominion, and that's why they paid them $800 million. Is that what you're? Because that sounds to me that's what you're claiming.
All I'm saying is you look to see who controls Fox and who controls Dominion.
But here's what I care about.
Look for yourself, because I'm going to let the people decide.
I understand. But you're making a claim that you believe.
I'm not making a claim.
In that video that we just played, which I was happy to play it.
Right.
The claims is that the machines are rigged. You're making the claim that the elections were rigged and that these machines are rigged. And I'm going to go back to what I said about the 2020 election, which is, where's the evidence?
Okay, I have the evidence.
So why hasn't it been presented in a courtroom, and where are all the Republicans out there showing the evidence publicly? I don't understand.
I have done my best to put out the evidence, but what you'll know from R&R, which is based right here in Las Vegas, there's a Mockingbird Media that only allows you to see what they want you to see, Brian. Mm-hmm. And so it is podcasts like mine, Tina Peters, the Tina Peters Show on Badlands. It's podcasts on others Conservative Daily, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That you will be able to hear the truth. And that's why people are leaving mainstream media. They want to know the truth because they're smart. Okay, so go back and look and see how much interest BlackRock has in Dominion, how much interest they have in Fox. Then here's what I want everybody to do. I want you to go to my website, tinapeters.us. So when I went in and had someone make an image, it doesn't collect PII, personal identifying information. It takes a snapshot of the election server before Dominion and the Secretary of State came in to do their trusted build. And then afterwards, it was supposed to be an update. When the cyber experts compared those two images, what they found was 29,000 vital election records were deleted. Now, these are and that's not all. These were election records that show who had access to the system, who went in and out, what changes they made, what, how you can audit the election. Gone. 29,000. And I want to know, why isn't the Secretary of State being arrested for deleting federal election records that are supposed to be retained for 22 months and in the state of Colorado, 25 months? And let me go on. The second report that came out, and there's more, people can go to my website. All three reports are there.
Who did the reports?
You can get the image. We're talking Harvard educate, and it has their bio on there. We're talking about people that work in high places. Go look at their bios. They're too long to go through right now.
This wasn't law enforcement, right? This wasn't anybody.
These are very well vetted cyber experts that worked for the government, that worked for other organizations, that thwarted terrorist attacks. I mean, just go on there. Doug Gould, go on and look at these three reports. So the first report was done by Doug Gould. Second report showed there were 36 wireless devices, Brian, in the election system. Now, by law, these election systems are not only not supposed to be connected to the internet, they are not supposed to have the capability to be connected to the internet. 36 wireless devices. Third report. Okay, so people kept saying, yeah, but you haven't shown us how you've, there's always these election debunkers, right? Election
deniers.
Election deniers, election information deniers. We've brought forth the proof. So many people have brought forth the proof. Okay, so they said to me, well, yeah, but you haven't shown how they've switched votes. I went to the cyber experts and I said, go look at the April 6, 2021 municipal election. When I pulled the results that night at 7 p.m., we had people that had just moved into our community. They ended up winning hands down, didn't even campaign. They won, so-called won, against these candidates that were well-loved, that campaigned their hearts out, that people lined up to support.
I may, though, Tina, because we're running out of time here.
Okay, but I'm not finished with the proof.
No, I understand that, but my point being, why didn't, again, I'm going in circles, but
I'm trying to get it out.
No, but why didn't Donald Trump's attorneys show any of this evidence in a courtroom? Why did they lose in court? Are they just incompetent? I'm trying to understand that. And why? What would you say about all the Republicans that won in 2022 across the country? Were those elections all valid, and it was only the Democrats that won?
I ran for Secretary of State, and I could see in real time. So with 7 other El Paso County, Colorado candidates, we could see in real time how they flipped the votes, because after report number 3 came out that shows, and we have the proof, we have the receipts. No one has ever debunked this. But the problem is to getting it out to the American people, because they're so invested in hiding the fact that we do have the proof. And when you talk about the courts, those people are selected as well, Brian. You don't understand.
Some of them by Donald Trump, Trump-appointed judges that are Republicans. So I agree.
You don't understand. You've got this mental block, and
hold on. Well, what do you mean I have a mental block? I'm confused, because am I wrong? And when I say that some of these judges were Trump-appointed Republican judges, That's
you're
not
wrong. You're wrong when you have when you take this position
what was
that if a
that
court
Joe
if a
Biden won the election fair and square.
if you do you believe that 95% of American voters went out and voted? Do you believe that
Who
Joe
said that?
Biden
Wait. Who said that 95% of people in this country
look at the evidence? It is impossible. Do you believe?
Wait, hold on. Who said that?
Let me finish. Well, let me finish.
But
Do
you just
you
said something
believe?
that's not true.
Wait. Do you believe?
How many people live in this country, and how many people voted?
Do you? I can get you all that information. You don't want me to take me down that rabbit hole right now because you don't have time. But listen to this. Do you believe that Biden, who basically stayed in his who can't even walk a flight of stairs, do you believe that Biden won more votes than Obama? Do you believe that?
I'll give you. By the way, the highest vote turnout in this country was 66%. You just said it was 95%.
then go back. Then go back.
Well, I don't need to go back. I don't need to go back.
No. You give me a way to get in touch.
And I'll answer your question. But 95%.
Wait, stop. Yep. You give me a way to get in touch with you, and I will show you the numbers of how many actual voters there were. You just do that, and I will.
I'll answer your question though. I'll answer your question because you had asked me a question about Joe Biden and do I believe that many people voted for Joe Biden? Well, here's what I will tell you. Democrats obviously voted for Joe Biden. A lot of Republicans voted for Donald Trump. And I'm an independent. And I'm going to tell you why I voted for. By the way, I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton and I didn't vote for Barack Obama. So I'm not a liberal. Here's why I voted for Joe Biden. Not because I love Joe Biden and not because I want him to run again in 2024, because I don't. Because I believe Donald Trump is a despicable human being. 25 women that have accused him of sexual assault or rape. He's now sexual abuse liable in the courtroom, including his ex-wife. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Including his ex-wife in court documents, and he was found sexually liable of sexual abuse in court. I will also say I don't want someone with several ex-wives that's cheated on every single one of them and had unprotected sex with a porn star months after his wife was born. I also don't want a man who says Mexicans are rapists and bad people, but I suppose some of them are good people. I don't want a man who attacks a POW and says I don't respect him when he was captured, when we know that Donald Trump dodged the military multiple times himself. I don't want someone who attacks women on looks. I don't want a man who brags about sexual assault. That has nothing to do with policy, by the way. It has everything to do with the human being. I don't think Joe Biden is perfect. He's old. I don't want him to run again.
How about his son, who is a pedophile? How about his son that smokes crack?
Wait, hold on. Whose son is a pedophile? Take me back to that.
So should we talk about the Hunter Biden laptop? Do you want to go into that, Brian?
Well, hold on. Let's just go one statement at a time. You just said Joe Biden's son is a pedophile.
Underage.
So where's your evidence? Hardcore evidence.
Have you seen the Hunter the laptop? Because I have.
Oh, so you have more evidence than the FBI. You've actually seen everything in the laptop.
Do you believe that the FBI is?
You're asking me if I believe something, and you just called Joe Biden's son a pedophile, and I'm asking you, where's your direct evidence that Hunter Biden has had sexual relations with a minor?
Do me a favor, Brian. Send me your contact information.
Hold on,
wait. You just asked me a question. Let me answer it.
You're not answering.
No, I am. Okay. I said, send me your information. I will send you the copy of the Hunter Biden laptop. I will send
Wait, hold on. You're going to send me a copy of the Hunter. Is that a serious statement, Tina?
That's a serious statement.
You're telling me you have everything in Hunter Biden's laptop. Is that what you're telling me?
Listen, we
Tina,
have
the
whole thing printed out in a book of Hunter Biden's laptop.
Tina, you're not a member of the FBI. You're telling me you have Hunter Biden's hard drive. You have everything in his laptop.
It's public, Brian.
No, it's not. I don't know what Tina.
All right, send me your email. Send me your email. This is getting to be fun. Okay, send me your. You guys come see me tonight. Rebel. Are you
going to be releasing all the information in Hunter Biden's email at your event tonight?
I don't think I have time for all that. The volume is like that.
So you have videos of Hunter Biden with minors? Was that what you're telling me?
Have you not seen it, Brian?
No, I haven't. Well, tell me, what do you have? I want to hear the goods on Hunter Biden.
Oh my God.
You have videos and images of him with minors having sex. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Laying in bed, smoking a crack pot, naked.
But smoking crack doesn't mean you're a pedophile. You called him a pedophile. I know he has a
bed with children. Oh my gosh, Brian, you need to get educated. Send me your info. I'll get it.
With all due respect, I think I'm very educated, and I don't make conspiracy theorist claims like you do. Yeah, I mean, I am an educated person. I don't say Donald Trump won the election in 2020 because he didn't. I don't call people pedophiles with no evidence to back it up. I don't say I have Hunter Biden's laptop, which you claim you do, which you don't. The FBI has that. You don't have Hunter Biden's laptop. And when you make a claim like that, I feel like you lose credibility. And I've never been found guilty of a misdemeanor.
Close-minded. You need to be.
Okay, well, I wasn't found guilty of a misdemeanor of obstruction of a government operation, and I don't have a trial coming up in August like you do. Aren't you facing multiple felony counts? Yes or no?
Let's attack.
I'm not attacking. I'm just giving you the facts. Aren't you facing felony multiple account? Yes or no? Or is that a lie as well? Why are you laughing? It's a yes or no question.
Is this
are
the
you
way
facing?
It's
not about treating. I'm asking you. It's an issue of credibility. Are you facing multiple felony accounts? Yes or no?
My goodness, Brian.
Why won't you answer that question?
Brian, you just saw the video I just played.
That video was nonsense and it proved nothing. It was just claims. So now you won't answer my question. Are you facing multiple felony accounts for your alleged involvement in the election security breach? So is that a lie as well?
It's not a security breach. I did my job. Don't you want your elected officials that you elect to preserve your election records? Don't you want
obstructing a government operation is not somebody that I want representing me as a clerk. No, ma'am. I don't want people like that. And I don't want people calling people pedophiles with no evidence to back it up. I don't like
Send
people.
me your info. I'll send it to you. I am willing to back it up.
Why do you keep saying you're going to send it to me? Why don't you just tell me what the evidence is on the radio? When you call
how much time do we have?
When I call somebody a pedophile, I could give examples of what they did to children. Just because Hunter Biden smokes crack cocaine doesn't mean he's a pedophile. And by the way, this is Joe Biden's son, who's never been an elected official before. If somebody does commit pedophilia or anything like that, I want them held to the highest extent of the law. Let me be very clear on that. But when you make a claim like that, Tina, with all due respect, and you don't have
the receipts, Brian, I have the proof.
So what do you have? Tell me what you have.
If you want me to send it to you, you have to see it.
Why won't you tell me what you have?
Because if I tell you, you're going to say I'm a conspiracy theorist, or you don't believe me.
No,
I'm going to send you the receipt.
Do you have a video, or do you have?
There's plenty.
So you have a video. How did you get into Hunter Biden's laptop hard drive? How were you able? That's amazing to me. How were you able to get into his hard drive?
Open your eyes, Brian. It's public.
Okay, but I want to know though, how do I get into Hunter Biden's hard drive? Like, how were you able to? Because I think that's fascinating.
Send me your information, and I will send you the information. You can check it out for yourself.
If somebody wants to get into Hunter Biden's hard drive, how would they go about doing that?
Maybe they can get it from you, Brian. Go ahead and give me your information.
Okay, so you're not going to tell me how you got it, but you got it. Did George Soros get it to you, or who gave it to you?
Brian,
we're having a good time now. This is such a ridiculous conversation. You're saying that you have Hunter Biden's laptop. Tina, this is a little crazy, okay? Like, I'm happy to have a respectful, you seem like a very nice lady. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. But when you call somebody a pedophile and then you say you have Hunter Biden's laptop, that's a little cuckoo. I'm just going to be honest with you.
You need to take the red pill. You need to get some information, Brian.
I need to take the pill on how you get Hunter Biden's hard drive. That's the pill I need.
All right, send me your information.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to do that.
Okay, good.
I'm going to send it to your handler. I promised I would promote your event, which I'm glad to do. You're going to be at the First Baptist Church tonight at 7 p.m. in Henderson. Your tour is Guilty of Saving America. I do appreciate you coming on and willing to have a debate with me, as I respect anybody that's willing to do so. And I want to email you, and I want to find out how I get Hunter Biden's hard drive, because I would love to talk about that on the air. So I will do that, and I will take you up on that. And Tina, I do appreciate you taking the time to come on, and you're welcome to come on again sometime. And I appreciate you, and have fun out there in Henderson.
Brian, it's been fun.
Thank you. All right. That's Tina Peters, everybody. I learned something new. I guess the Hunter Biden laptop and the hard drive is available to the public. I didn't know that. I learned something new today. But I'm the one who needs to take the red pill. Okay. Fair enough. Wow. Well, I'm kind of speechless. I don't really know. This woman was a former clerk of Mesa County. I just want to be very clear on that. And yes, she is facing multiple felony counts, and then she claimed that I was attacking her when I asked her a question. These are very serious allegations.